Okay, so yes, like I said, this was played in the this game was played in the Icelandic League. And I had the black pieces. My opponent is playing for the current champions and probably the favorite team, the Viking Chess Club. Meanwhile, I'm playing for the Reykjavik Chess Club, the most well-known chess club in Iceland. And next year it will celebrate its 120th birthday. And yeah, that's the club where I started playing. And I played for some other clubs, but now I'm back home, as they say. And well, some backstory. Yeah, we played a lot of blitz games, some rapid games, and this is our fourth classical game. And I've drawn against him once and lost 2 times. But always interesting games and always kind of have some chances. But he did beat me last time in the French. Before that I played... So he always plays e4. 95% plus he plays e4. So I was expecting that. And I did have a look at some of his games and some ideas on the stream. On my stream here before the game. And I was mostly looking at knight d2. He has played that in almost all of the blitz games we have played. In our one of our classical games in the league, he played knight d2. There I managed to get in some nice preparation and had the winning position, but he managed to hold on for the draw. But then in another tournament he played knight c3 against me. But for some reason I wasn't expecting him to do that again, but he did. And we have the winner, bishop e4. And he played the main line, e5. And now I'm gonna give you some insight into how a master really thinks in the opening. So here, I was pondering, should I play queen d7? Which I had been playing in well, almost all of my blitz games recently when I get this position. With decent results. I have some ideas. I have a trap. And I found a game where he played queen c4, which I kind of like a little less for me than a3. I prefer if they go a3. But I was thinking about it, and I thought I didn't want that kind of position. But the actual deciding factor was that the knight on c3 was from another set. And it was so butt ugly, I couldn't take it. I could not take it, a knight from another set. So I couldn't play queen d7. I had to chop it off. So c5, a3, and chop that ugly thing off. And we can play a game with the same set. If there's anything that tilts me, it's like when the pawns are all from different sets. The rooks, the bishops, the knights. It just... I hate it. So that's how a master thinks, and that's why I chose c5 and bishop takes e3 instead of queen d7. I hope you learned something. Okay, so we played this. And thank you, Chip. And for some reason I thought I had played queen e7, knight e7 last time we played. So I'll play queen a5. But then once we played these moves, I remember, yeah, I'll pray. Then I remember that we actually played this line before. And he played queen c4 there. And also he played queen c4 here. Now, I've had this, of course, in the classical chess. I played g6, which actually made it into, was it this book? Made it into a chess book. This is total coincidence. If it's this one, it's not. Oh, it's this one. It's not planned. Let's have a look. This is the Wonderful Winnower by Viktor Moskalenko. I do recommend Moskalenko's books on the Winnower, and very handily. I don't have to look up the game because I have it here. Total surprise. No, total coincidence is what I wanted to say. Okay, Queen G4, where are you? G6, yeah. In that game, okay. In the game we're looking at now, I did play King F8. But I have a game where I played G6. And I think that's very playable as well. My game against Mats Andersen, who's now Grandmaster, is in the notes. Queen D1, B6. Okay. Yeah, an H4, 10 H4. B6, yeah, and this is the most aggressive idea. This is what Anderson played against me. I played Bishop A6, an idea of Levsakis. Black allows H4, H5, which doesn't seem like it should be done, but I think I saw this idea from his other book, The Flexible French. H5. C takes D4 is what I should play, and that's what I did play. HG, FG. A1. Yeah. And now white plays Queen G4 again. Targeting this pawn. But knight E7 is the idea. And black retains dangerous counterplay. King D7 is possible. He took on D4, I played H5. This pawn thrust is to... it's a nice way to get rid of the H7 weakness once and for all. Now, Queen H4. You know, anytime he takes this was played, anytime he takes on E6, I take on D4. Hitting this, should be... Knight C5 comes with tempo. And the knight covers everything. If you see my pattern recognition videos, knight covering the king is excellent. Get back to the kitchen, Eddie! Eddie, get back to the kitchen! So I played Queen H4, which is an interesting move. I played G5, which I thought was very clever to target this. Queen C2 looks fine as well. I think this position is good for black. I mean, no problems. Not better. I mean, it's okay. We played this, takes, and I took on D4. Black seems okay after this pawn capture. C3, Queen to E4, Knight E2, Knight C5, and now Rook H4 occurred in Mats Andersen, Johannesson, Reykjavik 2009, when Queen takes E5 would have been an unpleasant surprise. I played something else, but I saw this move, but I rejected it. Well, since I looked at it in the book, I actually, yeah, let's see. Always nice to have your game in a book. Don't know if you can see my name there. You should be able to. Anyway. Yeah, Moskalenko seems to think that this would have been an unpleasant surprise because I have this. Where does the king go? I can't remember. Yeah, probably here. I don't know. When I won't be up a pawn, but I think I saw something. I saw this and I rejected it. Why? Gleyma þér. I actually can't remember. This was 2009. But all I remember is that he said queen takes e5 would have been a nice surprise. But I saw this move, but I rejected it. But unfortunately, I don't remember why. But interesting, yeah. I need to. I haven't looked at this line for a very long time. But I think g6 is an interesting way to play. However, king f8 has been the go-to move recently. I'm not sure why. But you tend to trust other grandmasters. Okay, so we play this move not to weaken our pawn structure, and now the queen pulls back to d1. Why do we lose this time? Well, black has lost his right to castle, so white feels that the loss of time is justified. Also, you need to protect the pawn of c2, which is now hanging. So okay, black plays b6, and if everything goes well, white plays very timidly. We will play bishop a6. We will trade off these bishops. We will play knight e7. Probably we'll take with the queen. Bring our knight to c6. We'll take at some point on d4. And then we calmly walk our king to h7. We finish development. And we have the superior pawn structure. This is sort of the pipe dream in this line. If you can achieve this, you will usually be better. But this is a long way from happening. And one of the downsides is that white can play d takes c5, which he did. And now I haven't looked up our previous game, but he did play. I took on c5 in our previous game, and he played c4. I was very close in that game, I think, to equalizing, but he always had like a nagging edge, and in the end he played a good game and outplayed me. And the problem with this is you really don't want white to take on d5, because then things open up. White has the bishop pair, and we don't want to open up the position for the bishops too much. So d4, I can't remember if he played it, but I think white might even be able to play c3 here. If we trade queens, okay, let's say I try to hold on to this, but he will put pressure. Eventually I have to release the pressure. And now white just has the bishop pair. He can stick this bishop on e4. And at some stage maneuver bishop to e3. Maybe castle or king e2. And then this other knight might be able to come to d3. And you can see that we can very easily target this pawn. Very pleasant position for white. I did not want to go into that. But fortunately, I remembered a blitz game where I did commentary. It was the Live Chess World League. And my compatriot Sigurbjörn Björnsson, FIDE-master, I mentioned him earlier in the stream. The guy who has played 1 million moves. 1 million on chess.com. He was playing against the Butcher, Miodrag Perunovic, the Butcher, who sometimes does commentary on the Chess Pro channel, and he played this move bishop a6, and I decided to trust him. Queen e4 you can't play, but I'm not sure how we continue. I mean, probably white can just sack a pawn or play queen e2. It shouldn't change much because we can play. Might be playable. Let's say I play queen e2. You know, even if I get the pawn, it's a very dangerous capture. I'm wondering if bishop e2 can be played, because, well, the queen is very exposed here. We might just be happy to sacrifice here. Could be played, I'm not sure, but I think bishop e2 could be played. Second the pawn. I also think that queen e2 should be good, especially if we trade. Then we just again get this thing where white tries to open up, get rid of the double pawn, and target this. I'm not dismissing the move. It could be. It's probably a playable move. the move I played, bishop a6, is more sort of in line with what black wants to do in these structures. He wants to trade the bad light square bishop for the good light square bishop and sort of target the weak light squares. The downside here, of course, is that I am sacrificing a pawn. And he did accept that offer. He took on a6. And this is sort of where my knowledge evaporated. Well, it was non-existent, so it couldn't evaporate. I couldn't remember what the butcher did. I took with the queen. I played this once in a blitz game, and I remember I took with a knight, and I had trouble protecting this pawn. He took on b6, I took back, and no, I didn't really prepare it. I thought of it over the board when I suddenly remembered that we already played this, which I should have looked at before the game. But this was the one game I didn't have in my database. Unfortunately, I at the time too lazy to enter it, and it's from a training tournament, so it's not in the regular databases. So when I was looking at our games before the game, I actually hadn't looked at this Vinegar game, but I thought I remembered it. But I remembered during the game. So I decided to try this idea, just to get a different type of game. He played knight to f3. No, he played queen e2. And now I played... No, he actually played knight f3, sorry. Yfir borgina. Originally I wanted to play knight d7, but I thought then he might in some lines be able to play knight d4. So for some reason I thought that knight e7 was more accurate, so that's what I played. He played queen e2, I played knight d7. He now took on a6. And now he thought for a while. And he ended up castling, but I was really worried. Hello, Lali. He ended up castling, but I was kind of worried about c4. Giving back the pawn, but playing c4 is always a dynamic idea. You get rid of your doubled pawns, and you sort of open up the position for your pieces, for the bishop, default for your rooks, and you get some dynamic chances trying to utilize the fact that the king is on f8 and the rook is not connected. So the reason black can play king f8 is that he wants to keep the position closed and keep a good pawn structure. If he can do that, very often he can look forward to better things. So I thought this was French winner. So yeah, I was fearing c4 when I take. I was intending to take bishop b4. I probably have to unpin. I do get this nice knight on d5, but I think it should be slightly better for white. But black looks like he's very reasonably solid. If I can play f6, king f7 and get my rook into the game, either here or most likely here, I should be okay. Rook c8 probably to protect my pawn on c4. Then I should be okay, but white is somewhat better, I think. And this is probably what he should have played, but he didn't. He castled. And maybe he was expecting knight c6. Yeah, if we go into the c4 line, definitely black square control. But white is not controlling what black is controlling, and that is the light squares. So I would love to, long term, get a knight on c4. If we can do that, we're doing fantastic. And that's sort of the idea of this pawn sacrifice. It can often be played in some Nimzo Indian lines as well. Is that you want to keep control of these squares, sort of keep these pawns weak over here. You know, maintain these squares. So if I can play knight c6, king e7 and get the rooks over, maybe get one knight here on c4, and I'm just doing fabulously. So that's the strategic idea. So my initial intention was to play knight c6. But if I do that, I think c4 is very strong. And we did have a look at this after the game, and he agreed. And he thought it might even be close to lost for black, because after bishop b4, I take. I don't have to take, but if I take some forced stuff here, I will get to your question, Bobby. I have to play this because there's a back rank check, but now rook a7, and my pieces are just horrible. You can even play c3 here or knight d4, and the knight gets to d6, and this is not something you want to endure. So the question was, yeah, why knight d7? Why not knight c6? If knight c6, I thought it was not in time. Let's say I take bishop b3. Maybe I am in time. Knight a5. Rook b1. No, let's say I play king e2. Maybe I am in time. For some reason I thought I wasn't in time. You could target the pawn here with rook b1, and I didn't want to have to play knight here, but maybe I could have done that, or the other knight. I might have the move order slightly wrong there, but in general, yeah. Yeah, it could be like... Yeah, that's definitely something I should think about. But okay, I didn't do it this time around. And I didn't go knight c6 either. I thought I found a very nice move here. I think I found a very nice move. So the problem with knight c6 is he plays c4. And I was really happy with this move. I played rook a4. I'm preventing c4, prophylaxis. The reason why this move might look a little strange is that he can play bishop e3. After knight c6, which I did play, he has rook after b1, and he's targeting this pawn. And now I have to play rook a6 back. I don't have time to take on e5, because my back rank will be weak once he takes. So I have to play rook a6. So I'll just play rook a6 and rook a4 and rook back to a6. Looks stupid, but now he moved the bishop here. And I did prevent c4 earlier, and now he can't play c4. The idea of c4 earlier was to play bishop b4, but now the bishop is on e3, so he doesn't have time for that. And now I am ready to play king e7, get my rook into the game, and then I have a very nice structure and can start thinking about... It has not started to snow yet, fortunately. And after I connect my rooks, I can start thinking about winning back some of my pawns. Okay, he played rook b5. I just play king e7. And the problem is he can't play this move to increase the pressure, because I just take on a3 and win my pawn back with a better pawn structure. This is hanging, this is hanging. This is semi-useless, and black is better. So he did not want to do that. And he ended up playing bishop g5 check. I played f6. And he played e takes f6 check. And he offered me a draw. which I really wanted to take, and I kept, you know, trying to look at the position, tried to find an excuse to take it, because I kind of wanted to just wrap up the weekend, have like a small rating gain, feel happy. But I just thought my position was so good that I had to play on. I kept thinking like, how will I explain if I show this game? How will I explain that I accepted the draw here? I can't, because I did. I accepted the draw, and it turns out black is better, but not by much. But I'm not sure I agree with the computer. I will take here. And I'm actually not sure where the bishop goes. If it goes here or here. Yeah, I'm sorry I chickened out. It just, you know, I just wanted to meet people, have a chat, not spend. I would have to spend energy for 2 hours, and I had to go to work that day, later that day. I was also selling some books. So I just wanted to leave the weekend with my energy, as much energy as I could, be happy, small rating gain, you know. Yeah, no, of course, I saw all these ideas. We have this, double the rooks. But he thought, okay, he thought it was around equal. He agreed black is maybe slightly better, but he thought it would liquidate somehow, and should be a draw. Let's actually throw it into the computer. Let's delete these. The last move. Delete move. Promote this. So I do apologize for checking out. But now I have drawn against the former world champion 2 times in classical chess, so come on. But I could have beaten him, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I messed it up like this then, okay. God damn it! Yeah, I have to run a report and it's going to be better. But I was really happy with the Rook A4 idea. So let's quickly have a look at, well, first the report. Whoa! Thank you, computer. It wasn't many moves, but the computer thinks I played super fantastic, super duper, 99.4! So, yeah, this is all theory. The black queen blues, queen a5, the hook variation. This is, I think h4 is considered maybe the critical test. Queen g4, king f8, the modern move. We had a look at g6 during our analysis. I showed you my game against Mats Andersen, or, well, the start of that game. Thank you, Adi. And yeah, interesting idea. Computer is not perhaps completely sold, but okay, this is like shallow preparation. I mean shallow calculations by the computer. Actually, I do have my score sheet. I'm not sure if you played knight f3 or queen e2 first. But I think it doesn't really matter. The only question is, as Bobby Fischer 2 suggested, if I should play knight c6. I thought I would have some problems with the pawn, but maybe it's playable. Let's see maybe what the computer says if I play this. Bishop e3. It's giving a little bit of a bigger plus for white here. I'm not sure why though. Let's say I go for this idea. I play knight a5. Rook b1. Yeah, maybe something like this, and a quick change. Yeah, I must have seen something like this. I did briefly ponder it, but I just remember that I felt like 97 was a more solid way to protect the pawn. Okay, Rook a4 is best. Thank you, Stockfish. Yeah, I think knight c6, c4 is dangerous for black. You know, it increases a little bit, like half a pawn, plus 40. Yeah. My opponent, he gave me props for the move as well. He thought it was a very educated move. Like, yeah, you can just, you know, lose those tempos, but you know, otherwise I play c4, super duper. So rook a4, bishop e3, improve the knight, get the king out. Okay, first I have to protect, lose this tempo, but now it changes. Lali doesn't like those fence lines. Yeah, they're, let's say, acquired taste. f6 takes. And g takes. So the computer is starting to like black a little bit more. Yeah, maybe someday I'll drop a Scandinavian if we play again. I've been looking at some Scandinavians and I don't mind playing that. Yeah, I think the advantage might increase. I thought when I was accepting the draw, I thought it would be a slightly bigger plus for me, to be honest. It says bishop c1. I guess, yeah, I would maneuver the knight or play rook a8. Yeah, I do have the last Shandorf Karakant book. I haven't actually looked at it that much. Rook b4, what does that do? Swing the rook over maybe? Get counterplay. But you're not in time, knight c4. Sledgehammer with a follow. Ah, the Icelandic Gambit, yeah. Do I know anything about the Grunfeld? I'll give you a Grunfeld story very soon with Ivanchuk. Yeah, this Icelandic Gambit, I'm not sure it's sound. I can't remember. It's interesting. But the problem is nobody plays c4. So yeah, anyway, this was my game against former World Junior Champion and Grandmaster Jon L Arnason. Happy to get the draw. Should have played on, but my lame energy excuse. I don't know. I'm not going to come up with an excuse. It's just what I wanted to do at the time. I knew better, but I don't know. I did what I did, and you do what you do. So, what to do? Anyway, I really enjoyed the game for this bishop. I think this bishop a6 idea, pawn sacrifice, is interesting, and again, really happy with this rook a4 move.